morning, everybody. Nice to see you all. Thanks for coming. My name is Laura Thorson. I'm a program manager here at GitHub on the DevRel team. I'm excited to welcome you to this session. It's going to be awesome. Friendly reminder to please silence your cell phones. We also won't be having any Q&A at the end of this session, so if you have any questions, you can ask them at the end, and we'll ask you all to just move outside and do the classic hallway track if you don't mind. Otherwise, please welcome Jasmine and Holger.
All right. Thank you so much. So good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here at the GitHub Universe. So my name is Holger. Sometimes difficult to pronounce, Holger. And at Mercedes-Benz, I'm a senior manager and responsible for a team that is dedicated to improving developer experience.
Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome also from my side. My name is Yasmin Ramos, and I'm the product owner for GitHub at Mercedes-Benz. And I'm here today to show you the results of our 6-month journey with Copilot. But before we go into that, because I'm sure that you are really curious to know our details, Holger, you created the developer experience department from day one. So tell us, what were you aiming with that?
Yeah, thank you, Yasmin. Your understanding what developer experience means is very important if you want to assess the benefits and the effect of GitHub Copilot. So we will talk later about what this really means. So we started talking about developer experience in the company quite a few years ago when we realized that the conditions for software developers were not optimal in our company. So the real heroes at that time were the car designers and the car engineers. But if we wanted to go 100% digital, we would have to rethink what we did. So we started an initiative at CRO level, and we call it developer happiness. Afterwards, it was developer productivity, which was added to developer happiness. So 2 years ago, I began to build up a line organization in order to track the activities about developer happiness or developer experience in a more sustainable manner. And it was so funny when I talked with HR about this organization, they didn't know what to do with that idea. And even one colleague from HR asked me whether this meant making orange juice or energy drinks available for developers. Okay, well, not exactly. But things have changed, and today we are here at the GitHub Universe. So we are going to show you our vision for a developer experience ecosystem with GitHub Copilot. We will show you the criteria that we use to assess GitHub Copilot, how we measure productivity, and how we measure or try to measure the investment that we put into Copilot. We will also show you some sort of roadmap to anticipate the future a little bit. And of course, we will also show you that we indeed save time in the development process. And for me as a manager, time is money. So to give you some context, where do we come from? You might be wondering what Mercedes-Benz is doing at a software development conference. Because we are usually well known for our excellence in mechanical engineering, and we are usually associated with hardware. You can touch our cars, leather, metal, steel, quite cool. So engineering excellence was always very important for us. And if you look at the cars today, especially the electric ones, they are actually mobile data centers. So and software and data is actually the fuel. So the head unit in a car as the fourth screen after personal computers, after television sets, and after smartphones is the key element of every electrical car nowadays. And for that reason, we also started to build our own operating system, which is called MBOS, Mercedes-Benz Operating System, for the car, so the name is somewhat obvious. So what I would like to say is the art of engineering in the context of mechanical engineering gives way to the art of engineering, of software engineering in that area. And software engineering is the key for excellent products also for us. So to put it in a nutshell, vehicle software, car software, engineering excellence, and developer productivity are the drivers why we got involved into GitHub Copilot at a very early stage. And I'm proud to say that we were the first automotive company that brought GitHub Copilot into production. Well, we are here at the GitHub universe. So let us talk a little bit about GitHub itself. So GitHub for me is definitely the symbol for free and open source software. And also free and open source software is rather important also for what we are doing. So we are very active in that context. We live, we advance, we foster free and open source software. We are a member in the major foundations, and we are a GitHub sponsor. But Jasmine, you are the GitHub, let's say, product owner in our company. Can you give us more facts and make it more tangible?
Yes, so Holger, at the moment we have 170 repositories on github.com, and on our GitHub Enterprise server, we have 100,000 repositories, of which 10,000 are being used for inner source projects, right? High number.
Quite impressive. And Jasmine, I got fantastic news. Just 90 minutes before, our much valued colleague, Wolfgang Gering, he's sitting here in the audience, received an award from GitHub on behalf of Mercedes-Benz for all the work around the OSPO he built up with the COC FOSS. So kudos and congratulations, Wolfgang. Awesome job. All right. Happy developers are productive developers. But what does actually a good developer experience means? The first thing I ever learned in my career is a fool with a tool is still a fool. You might know this phrase, and it's full of wisdom. So how can we describe what does it mean? It's just developer experience more than just providing tools. I like that illustration here. It's from Abhinoda and his colleagues about the 3 dimension of developer experience. You can reduce friction in the development process, better that, if you consider 3 aspects, namely cognitive load, the flow state, and the feedback loops. So cognitive load is the amount, the type of information that your brain can hold and process at one time. I mean, you can do many things at one time, but certainly you can't do it very well. The flow state is something I hope you have experienced this already a few times in your life. Picture this. It's midnight, and suddenly you are wondering who did all the work that was on your table. So it was you, and you were in such a flow that you forget everything about you. The last one is feedback loops. It's about shortening the feedback loops, because the earlier you get feedback for your coding, the earlier you can learn and can optimize your code. So if you are deploying a good CI/CD pipeline today and you release very early, you are pretty good with shortening the feedback loops. I give you an example. Imagine a simple coding environment with a lightweighted syntax which allows you to use GitHub Copilot. It will certainly contribute to reducing the cognitive load, and it will also help you maybe to go into a productive flow state. However, the time it takes until the changes appear at the system interface to your customer is rather high. So it might take a week or 2 weeks, so that's too long. And what I would like to say is the gain in the context of cognitive load and in the flow state is degraded because the 3rd dimension is actually not working, namely shortening the feedback loops. So altogether, reducing cognitive load, creating a condition for maintaining a flow state and shortening the feedback loop at the same time, that's what I call a revolution, and this is what I'm expecting, or what we are expecting from something like GitHub Copilot. I'm a German engineer in a German automotive company with a 130-year-old tradition. And I do what every German is doing, namely seeking for a structure, a model that helped me to find my way. And so did I. And I borrowed something from my colleagues at car engineering. They also have a field of work in the context that deals about automation. Well, it's rather autonomy, and I'm talking about autonomous driving. What you see here are the 6 levels of automation in a car that classify and describe the level of automation in a car. I said 6, you only see 5 here. So level 0 is actually nothing, no support at all. And SAE stands for Society of Automotive Engineers, so that's one of their standards. Level 1 and level 2, you are driving the car. Example for level 2 is, for example, adaptive cruise control or lane changing. This means you have to steer, you have to brake, you have to accelerate, you have to do everything to maintain safety. This is called assisted driving. Level 3 to level 5, this is the field of automated driving, of autonomous driving. So while level 3 still requires, or the features require the intervention of a driver, it might happen that you have to take over control over the car. But in level 3, 4, 5, actually the car takes over responsibility. Level 4 and 5, the car takes over responsibility. Level 4 under certain conditions, and level 5 under all conditions. So this is the most sophisticated level of autonomous driving. I will give you later, afterwards, a little example for a level 4. It's valet parking. So why am I telling you this? As I said, I need a model in order to describe the journey that we are going through with GitHub Copilot and with generative AI in general. And I think this model works pretty well because we are leaders in autonomous driving, and we want also to become leaders in automated coding. So I see similar levels of elements of development and explainability, and I will shortly after the demo will show you what I'm going to do with that model. Now, but first, level 4 autonomous driving.
Sorry, guys. These times might be over soon. Thanks to the new S-Class with future-ready technology.
This parking function will be available for use on public roads as soon as regulations and infrastructure allow.
No, that's sci-fi. That's not real. That's not going to happen.
So this is already reality, and I highly recommend you check out the YouTube link because the original video is longer, and the first minute is actually a funny part, but this is the most relevant part. That's why I showed it. But it's quite funny. So now let me apply the model of autonomous driving to the area of automotive coding. I try it again, 6 levels, while level 0 is actually nothing. It's a plain text editor. So, sorry, I'm on the way. It's okay. Level 1 is, let's say, an enhanced coding editor which recognizes your programming syntax, your programming language syntax, or is highlighting keywords like that. Level 2 is actually where we are today, namely with GitHub Copilot, and Yasmin will talk later on about that. This is still assisted coding, like in the model of autonomous driving. So if we go to level 3 and 4 and 5, this is where the exciting things are happening. We are entering the playing field of automated coding or autonomous coding. So Copilot Chat is already in the starting blocks at Mercedes-Benz, and we are already in a pilot, also with chat function. And I consider Copilot Chat in the category of level 3 because it starts contributing indeed to at least one of the 3 dimensions of the developer experience that I explained. So here definitely to contributing to reducing the cognitive load. So that means boilerplate code is basically history. Level 4 and 5 are holistically supporting all dimensions of developer experience in a much better way. So level 5 is something I cannot formulate right now. Maybe it's we come close to the idea of the 10x developer, a hypothesis Thomas Domke brought up and at the Web Summit in Brazil this year.
Okay, but wait, Holger. I have a picture in my mind right now. So is level 5 like a level 5 car be driven by a level 5 AI driving towards the sunset, for example.
That's quite a romantic vision for level 5 AI on the level 5 car. But quite seriously, is this the end of the human developer? Certainly not. I do not believe that. Like in the autonomous driving scenario, the car is still a means to move from location A to location B. And so level 5 AI is a sophisticated partner for the developer of the future and helps the developer to focus on business value, on value to the customer, and increasing quality in this software code, like for us, software in autonomous driving. But let's get back to business. What are we doing today?
So I love that comparison between driving automation and coding automation. But as of June 2023, this year, we were still on the level 1 you saw before, right? So you cannot imagine how happy we were when our account managers told us on November 2022 that Copilot was available for us to use. And we really wanted it. We really wanted it so badly that the first thing we did was to run to our top management. And guess what? After exposing our use cases, they supported us. And this was very important for us to move in this journey. What we did then was to start a proof of concept. This proof of concept was comprised of 100 users over a time span of 3 months. And this was so important for us because we really wanted to test Copilot and its flaws, of course, but also the good things on our test repositories and on public available repositories of Mercedes-Benz on github.com. What we also saw coming were challenges in the tool approval process, right? So what we did was, very fast, we tried to gather a group of people with different expertise from different locations to draft a plan how we should move along with the tool approval process. So we gathered with legal people, with operations team, with security, so really to see what was needed. Then we also saw that outside of Mercedes-Benz, there was a big momentum for Copilot. It was everywhere. It was in the social media, it was in the developer platforms. And what we wanted to have it is also inside of Mercedes-Benz. So what we did was basically to create 3 types of communities. The first one, we call it our tech community, where we would have a chat, or where our developers would have a chat, and where they could discuss technical stuff, and debug things. The second one was our tech tool community, and this tech tool community was for the general users, because they could discuss security and compliance issues. And then our third community was our blog post community, which was a community for everyone, including managers, where we would show metrics and statistics so that they could grab this information and discuss it further into their own circles. Well, but then on April 2023, I had a really bad job of announcing to all of our users that we needed to end the POC, right? And actually, it was a bad day for me, and I don't want to have that job never, ever again, because they really wrote to me, hey, it cannot be that you just ended the POC. We need it to work, right? And I think there was some escalations too that came up into your desk, but we couldn't do anything.
I've never told you how many escalations I received
On
top management level.
Yeah, you see, right, how important it was. But it was important for us to do here the stop, because we really wanted to prepare for our rollout later. So we needed to clear out proxies. We needed to streamline the login process. We needed to write the documentation for our users, so that on June 2023, we could announce the rollout of Copilot to our complete 24,000 developers. And this was a big day. I've talked a lot till now of the things we have done, but I also want to highlight what we haven't done, because I think this often, gets forgotten, or you apply it in other projects and you don't really realize why it was successful. And here in this case, one thing we didn't do was to just roll out Copilot into our IT department. What we did was really to roll it out across complete Mercedes-Benz, because we have developers in sales and after sales everywhere, and we really wanted them to use it. What we then also did was, of course, to not just start with the rollout. We did the POC first, to really see the challenges we will get when our users start using it. And one thing that I would also share with you, and you might take to your enterprises, was how well gamification worked with our developers. So you might wonder, why gamification, okay? And I tell you one example. So we did qualitative tests, of course. We are also measuring quantitative things. But when we gave surveys out to our users, we wanted to have their answers. And we needed the answers. So what we did was, hey, here's a survey. If you fill it, you win a POC seat for our next POC. Or here is a survey. If you fill it, you win a Copilot best practice workshop with our best people. So really try to engage the community and to create this community around Copilot, and we achieved that. But this was not only it. What we also did or had in place was a very robust ecosystem with 3 big pillars, I would say. The first one was a strong ordering system in place. So at Mercedes-Benz, our developers have one tool where they can get their tools from to have them daily, right? So of course, we also put Copilot into that platform so that they can go there and order the license. Then the second one was to have a seamless login process. So of course, every large enterprise, even small ones, have their identity provider. And of course, we too, right? And we wanted our user to just log in with our identity provider and then be able to use Copilot. And we achieved that by syncing through Azure Active Directory and CM and then to github.com. And that's what our users didn't saw, but what made it also so fantastic. And the third one was our plugin store, where we placed Copilot, because this was special because it came with an instruction to our users on how they can use Copilot, and they feel safer to download it because they have everything right away, and they don't have this fear to have missed something that we posted to be used before they start using it. And all this they can have in 1 hour after ordering, right? So for our users to have Copilot, they need at the moment 1 hour.
So what I can tell you, we are a large company and we love processes. So 1 hour is a great time. So you order it before lunch, and after lunch you can start working with Copilot. So that made it so easy for the developers.
Right, but it's not only how we implemented it, but also how our users adopt it. And this curve is a hype curve from Gartner, and I love it because I think it really depicts how our users have lived it. And it was this roller coaster, ups and downs. And actually, I would like you to explain this by inviting you to come with me into the journey of our developer called Sarah. And Sarah was a developer at Mercedes-Benz, and she is, of course. And when she first had Copilot or heard about Copilot, she was really excited. She thought it could solve everything. She also told to her peers how cool Copilot was, right? And she even got more excited when she got that place in the POC that Mercedes-Benz was doing. So expectations were really, really high. But then she starts using it, and she starts realizing, well, it might not fit everything I thought it would fit in. And you see that lowering of expectations. Copilot cannot magically solve everything. And you see that going down, right? Frustration maybe also setting in. But then we saw that coming. And we counteract that by giving our developers blog posts on what Copilot could and could not do. And also giving them use cases on how our developers, other developers, were using Copilot at Mercedes-Benz. And then you see and hear Sarah realizing, well, I actually had Copilot enabled in my IDE for the past week, and I didn't need to search for Vin or Fin anymore, the automotive people know it, because I had it open in my IDE and Copilot gave me suggestions right away. Or she does not need to switch the browser to go to the story because she had it copy-pasted in her IDE, and it would give context to the API that she wanted to write, right? And she realizes, well, I actually don't want to miss Copilot. And that's exactly where we wanted to reach at. We don't want that all our developers use Copilot for the same use cases. We want them to find their own tailored Copilot use cases to best work with every day. And then we see that integration phase coming, where the developers find their way of using Copilot and get productive with it. And that's what we wanted to achieve. And that's what I call the flow that Holger was mentioning in this triangle. Well, we were not yet at level 2 on June 2023, but we were now, right, after rolling it out. And we are experimenting with chat-driven development, and maybe I can say we are at level 3, I don't know. And of course, we also see shifts in educational focus for the integration of coding companions. We also saw that in the last session. And maybe boilerplate code might not be a word in the dictionary anymore, as Holger mentioned. We don't know. But we also don't know the future, right? But we know which obstacles are there today to come to the next levels, which would be even more complex. And what we'll try to do is to remove these obstacles today to move forward.
So this illustration shows perfectly that we are on a journey with GitHub Copilot. As I showed you the levels of automated coding. And while we are with level 2 Copilot at the moment, are on a productive level, this more or less flat line, the developers are already excited to see the next one, the chat function, but the expectations are higher. So it goes up there. We will see.
Good. But you might ask now, where are we at quantitative numbers, right? Is always a question. So at the moment, these numbers are a bit old. So I can say now that we are 2,000 users with 1,700 active users daily on Copilot. And we have an acceptance rate of 30% on the VS Code IDE of the suggestions shown. So here on the VS Code IDE numbers. And I think these are very, very great numbers, and numbers that we could not have achieved without our account managers. And here, a very big thank you from us to Anna, Angrid, Malta, JP, Patrick. Really, nice. Very, very thank you, because without you, we couldn't have achieved that. But one more measure that I would like you to live with is a measure that we found out through our surveys. And this is that our users perceive a daily productivity gain of 30 minutes per day. I'm just letting this number here and do the math.
This is great. As I said, time is money. Very well done.
Thank you. And yeah, but we are not, of course, just looking on the past, what we have done, but where we want to come and where we can counteract. And I knew that every manager are taking their phones out right now. And yeah, this is might look like a spaceship, and it's very colorful, and you love it. My manager also loves it.
And it's a great dashboard. And on behalf of all the managers at Mercedes, thank you.
Welcome. But this is not only pretty, right? This is also very useful because we need to know where we are at. And a measure that is for me important is, for example, to see if there are trend changes in total to active users ratio when using Copilot, or to see if we have changes in acceptance rates over time, if they are increasing, decreasing, and to see where we can also support our users by using Copilot and where we need to lead them into a different direction. And that's why we have taken the self-initiative to build these dashboards for us.
So the first mile was really very impressive. But Jasmine, what is the next one? What is in for Mercedes-Benz in the next year?
Yeah, well, I told you already, right? For me, it's important to make Copilot Chat available to everyone in our company. We've made it available for everyone, Copilot, now the next level. And of course, to remove that obstacles that are there, to move to the next levels, to the fourth and to the fifth one, right? Because we need to move faster in the future, because they will be more complex, as Holger was telling you. And what about you, Holger?
I mean, in addition to the feedback we receive from the developers, as Jasmine nicely pointed out, and this was individual feedback and individual perceived improvement, it was just great. But we must continue to ask ourselves how the investment in generative AI and like GitHub Copilot really pays off. So we did surveys to cover the field of developer experience, which covers more the feeling of the developers, and we have indeed data, as in the dashboards, like just Jasmine said, or showed us, with real data from the engineering systems. At the moment, we have a discussion at management level, really how to measure productivity gains when using GitHub Copilot, and also the next one. So are DORA metrics the right one? Are lines of code the right one? Can we measure the outcome, a different outcome in that? Or do we need less developer than before to achieve the same goals? That's a complex field, and we do not have an answer yet, quite frankly. Actually, two hearts are beating in my chest right now. The first feedback was very enthusiastic, really great. I also tried it. That's fantastic, and I'm really curious how chat is working. But nevertheless, the next levels, as I said, level 3, 5, 3, 4, 5, will be much harder to achieve or much harder to reach. We will need higher investment in that. And also configuring and adapting or training the AI for our own goals, for example, in the context of software in the car or software for autonomous driving, will keep us busy in the next years. However, with GitHub by our side, we have a competent and reliable partner, and that makes me quite confident in that context. So I'm looking forward to reach the next levels together with the GitHub team. Still, I would like to know, maybe later on at a cafe, outside, how you anticipate your journey with GitHub Copilot. How are you going to reach the next levels, 3 and 4 and even 5? So maybe in a few years we are going to meet here again and discuss about a level 5 AI, and also how you are going to measure productivity.
Well, we are almost reaching an end, but we didn't want to leave without leaving a surprise for our users at Mercedes-Benz. And build with Copilot, when this timer reaches 0, all of our developers at Mercedes-Benz will have a chance to download Copilot Chat. So this will be available from the 15th of April in our company.
So thank you very much. And just to show you that it was a team effort between people from RD, from IT, from many departments that work together to really achieve that what we just presented. It's not just done by the two of us. It's an entire team behind it. So kudos also to the team.
To the team, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you to GitHub. Thank you for being here today.